I'm Avaz Siddiq from Center for Global and Strategic Studies, Islamabad. Welcome to CGSS Bulletin. It is an immense pleasure to have Professor Dr. Elena Dostanko with us today. Professor Dr. Elena Dostanko is the head of Academic Affairs Unit of Belarusian State University in Minsk, Belarus. It's an honor to have you here, ma'am. Belarus, as we know that Belarus has become an observer state of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2015, and it is providing very conducive environment for the growth of this organization. Do you think that your country will be able to gain the full membership of the SCO in near future?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank Center of Global and Strategic Studies for the invitation to visit Pakistan. This is my first time in Pakistan ever, so and I'm very glad to be here and to present Belarusian State University. For a long time I was a director of Center of International Studies of Belarusian State University, and my center was official SCO forum partner from Republic of Belarus. That's why I'm so much interested in SEO topic. About your question, so of course we gained observer status 3 years ago, and of course it was a very big honor for us. From one hand, it helps Belarus to enhance our image on international arena, to enhance our capacity in multilateral diplomacy, in also bilateral relations with SCO countries. But from another hand, Belarus is a real country that we can provide regional security, and actually officially our doctrine is the donor of regional security. Have a lot of cooperation between SCO institutes and Belarusian ministries and so on and so forth. And you know, actually, we are really, I would not say enjoying, but we're really now on the way to find the best way how to deal with observer status, how to implement our commitments in the very best way. So, to my understanding, the possibility of full membership is not in the very short perspective, maybe in future, yes, but for now, I think that the most important is to really to get all the benefits and advantages from observer status of SCO.
Oh, that's great. So, Belarusian economic diplomacy and its projects entitled The Integration of Integrations gained a great traction internationally, and it was endorsed. And in the wake of Belt and Road Initiative and Eurasian Economic Union, as we all know, that Pakistan and Belarus will act as transit corridors. So, in your opinion, what should be the topmost developmental priority for our countries?
Yeah, it's a very good comparison. We really have a lot of in common in our transition position, maybe, if it's possible to say so. Of course, if we talk about Belt and Road Initiative, we have industrial park, the Great Stone, and this is the most important element of Belt and Road Initiative in Belarus. And it's actually now we have around 40 residents registered in, including Chinese, American, German, all different companies. And it's very important that the president of Belarus, Lukashenko, is fully supporting this project. For example, in 2017, by decree of president of Belarus, the park was granted tax privileges, and that are not found in other countries. For example, 10 years without any taxes, and another 10 years only half of taxes are paid, and such a regime will be valid until 2062. So it's a very good example of how Belt and Road Initiative can bring benefits not only for Belarus but for any other countries and companies. At the same time, we have the observer status in so-called Initiative 16 plus 1. It's expanded cooperation between Belt and Road Initiative and bloc of 16 countries out of Central and Eastern Europe. And among those 16 countries, 11 countries are members of the European Union. And so this is another kind of a way of how can we unite our Eurasian and European opportunities. And of course, the points of interest for Pakistan and Belarusian side could be maybe the producing of Belarusian machineries. You know, we're very famous for our tractors, for big trucks, etc. But also there are new developments. For example, we can also think about joint ventures to make surgical instruments. We can leather goods, sport goods. We can also, Pakistan is famous in production of medication. It's also can be a way of collaboration, because we also have in Belarus a very strong pharmaceutical sector. And of course we cannot forget about textile industry, which you are very famous for, and we can use your experience as well. Of course, it's a cooperation in science, because without science we cannot moving forward. Progress depends totally on results of scientific research, and collaboration maybe in engineering, in nanotechnologies, in medicine, and pharmacy could be the point of interest. And also, another point is, as far as I understand, the functional nutrition and food safety. And I think that food safety is a big here in the region. And in Belarus, we produce agriculture, we grow agriculture, so we have all this circle of agricultural industry. So also we can also find points for cooperation in terms to unite Eurasian, European Union, SCO countries and Pakistan.
Okay. As per the reports, there has been a major growth in the tourism sector of the Belarus last year. Are there any bilateral efforts made by Pakistan and Belarus to promote their tourism as a region? And do you think that by relaxing our visa regimes, we can attract tourists from all around the globe, just like the Europe and other parts of the countries? And what do you think, are there any other schemes that can bolster the capacity of this tourism service industry?
Yeah, it's very interesting question, because cooperation in tourism always seems easy and difficult at the same way. Why it is easy to cooperate in tourism? Because everybody likes to travel, like to open new countries, new cultural heritage, food, shopping, etc., etc. From another, it is difficult because issues of security, visa facilitation regime, and of course ability of people to pay. It's very easy. Of course, I know that we have to admit that there are no massive flows of Pakistani tourists in Belarus and vice versa. It's very low. Reasons are distance, airfare, and of course visa conditions that we have to apply for Pakistani visa and vice versa. We know that in the framework of new Pakistan concept that your government has introduced, your government is doing a lot to attract tourists from all countries, and of course we know about that. Your government is considering easing visa requirements with over 55 or 50 countries. So we have almost the same situation in Belarus, because we introduce so-called regime of 30-day visa-free travel to Belarus. Maybe you've heard of this. So if you, citizens of 73 countries, can take advantage of this regime if they enter country through Minsk National Airport, so they don't have to pay for visa and they can stay without visa for 30 days. So I think it's also boost tourism in Belarus, not that dramatically, but still we are on the way. We have bigger touristic flows now in Belarus. So of course I think that first of all the visa issue and maybe cost of visa also is a problem that have to be solved. I also know from our Ministry of I think Foreign Affairs that there is a consultation between Pakistani and Belarusian government on so-called interdepartmental memorandum of cooperation in tourism. Yes. So it could be kind of a basic legal foundation to promote cooperation in tourism. And I hope that in a couple of years we will manage to establish ties between tourist operators and work out how to make tourism between our countries attractive. Maybe we'll find out some mechanism that can lower airfare, maybe in very cheap visa or no visa at all. So we can think about it, I think. So, yeah.
Okay. So, as a matter of fact, there is a commonality between Pakistan and Belarus, and it is their youth bulge. We both have the higher youth ratio in our countries, and being the head of Academic Affairs Unit, so what policies do you recommend for education and skill development of our youth?
Pakistani youth,
Pakistani and
Belarusian.
Belarus,
So
both.
first I do...
In this modern scientific world.
Yeah, because first of all, education. Have to get young people have to understand that the only education can help them to have a good life. Maybe it will take long time, but still, some it could be vocational training. Why not, to become a very good professional? Isn't that this fair? Maybe it could be higher education, but without higher education, it's not possible. In our globalizing world, it's very difficult to get a proper education studying only in one country. I think that it's my dream that students of, for example, Belarusian State University can go for one semester abroad just to feel, to have this experience. So, and I think it's important to all the students to this exchange, because when students come to another country, they can make friends with their, young people. They can exchange with their views and we begin to understand each other better. And of course, it's very important that state should support somehow the educational programs in the country, because we are not that much rich country, and we need this support from the state for budget financing. And for now, Belarusian government is doing everything possible to create a normal environment to give the possibility for education for youth people, young people. So, and we are of course inviting Pakistani guys and girls, being gender, speaking generally, so to come to Belarus and to maybe find interesting programs for studying, because we are now very much developing, for example, MA programs only in English language, and different spheres like green chemistry, like pharmacy, like biotechnologies, etc., etc. So,
Okay. So, in order to promote the people-to-people contact and to have an intercultural communication between our countries, do you think it is a better idea to organize the film festivals and cultural shows in each other country?
Extremely good idea, because I think when during Soviet Union time, it was we have this Iron Curtain, but Soviet Union was famous for the ballet, for wonderful ballet, and for good like dancing, etc., etc. So I think that culture is the only way to unite people, and of course it's enhancing the possibilities of young people to know about another country. Also, it's very interesting if this festival could be the festival of young directors, of young people who are directing those films, not only, so it could be very also interesting. Yeah.
Exactly. This diversification of cultures, it's very beautiful, and we have that diversification in our Pakistan.
Right.
So my last question would be that how would we describe Pakistan in one brief statement?
Diverse.
It's diverse.
And of course it's when it's actually my first day in Islamabad, but you can feel how many history, how many heritage, how many attitude, how many national, I would say identity in your country. And so this is my very first impression of Pakistan, of Islamabad, and I wish you all the very best.
All right, thank you so much, Professor Elena Dostanko, for enlightening us with your valuable knowledge about Belarus and Pakistan. It was an honor to be with you here. Both countries are keen to expand their cooperation on the variety of fields. We hope that this cooperation contribute greatly towards the promotion and strengthening of our bilateral relations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.